I'd like to officially apologize to Queen Marika for viewing her in such a bad light. I mean, I still do view her that way, but not nearly as bad as I did at first, and in this video, I'm going to explain why. How you guys and girls doing today? Tempster918 here, and in this video, we are going over Queen Marika's story. Man, oh man, just when you think Elden Ring's lore couldn't get any sadder. As I always say, I appreciate and love you guys, and if you enjoy these videos, please consider liking and subbing as it helps the channel a lot. With that being said though, let's start from the very beginning, shall we? Queen Marika's story begins in the Shaman Village, a secluded haven beyond the lands between, hidden within the shadowy depths of the lands of shadow. Marika's people, the Shaman people, endured relentless oppression under the cruel rule of a group of people called the Hornsent. Since the Shaman people were born without horns, the Hornsent looked at them as a blessing and a curse, but more importantly, they looked at the Shaman people as divine. Unfortunately though, what they did to these divine Shaman people was not very cash money at all. These tyrants inflicted horrible beatings to the Shaman people and confined them within jars, all as part of a merciless and dark ritual that they thought would lead to Ascension. We can see the Hornsent and the damage they've done all throughout Bonnie Village. They seem to be wielding a huge butchering knife that reads, "Weapon of the Greater Potentates of Bonnie Village, an outsider's butcher's cleaver used to dismember human bodies in the making of the great jars stored in the jails." Shit. Seems to me like they know what they were doing was wrong too. They wear the same weird caterpillar mask we see the main Hornsent fellow wear at the start of the DLC. The description of the mask reads, "Grotesque mask constructed from countless solidified caterpillars, a ritual implement of the greater potentates of Bonnie Village, used to ward off thoughts of impurity, doubt, temptation, and other wickedness one is vulnerable to while absorbed in divine ritual." They even beat the living hell out of Marika's people with whips. A disturbing piece of equipment that we can find right outside the village reads, "Whip be strewn with rotten, misshapen teeth. Filthy and seething with disease, the teeth are embedded in the whip and dose the victim with deadly poison upon each strike. As the wounds ripen, they grow inflamed and ooze pus. The flesh of shamans was said to meld harmoniously with others." As we leave Bonnie Village, we can enter a jail close by and witness just how much damage the Hornsent truly inflicted. The inner meat says, "Scraps of flesh for filling great jars. Rancorous spirits cling to this pinkish red freaking meat. This is what becomes of the condemned who get sliced up and stuffed into jars to become saints instead." It's so sad too, y'all. It got to the point where some of Marika's Shaman people even believed that this would lead to some kind of salvation for them. According to the Great Jar Helm, it was the attire of the shamans who performed their worship at jails. They offer their prayers to the innards of the Great Jars such that they might be reborn one day into sainthood. This is the cycle of death and rebirth taken into the hands of mortal men. Unfortunately for the Hornsent though, a shaman woman would change the course of history for good. Sometime after all this went down, Queen Marika was chosen as an Empyrean to be the vessel for the Elden Ring and ascend to godhood. In order for her to do this though, another ritual, I guess you could call it, would have to happen. She makes her way to the gate of divinity and at that very moment becomes a god. Now, it's speculated as to how she did this, as we know by the final boss, a consort and a vessel is needed to ascend to godhood. A lot of theories float around, a famous one being that she used herself as a vessel in Radagon as her lord in the same body, like we see in the base game. At the end of the day though, Marika was now a god and had the power to do anything she wanted. Surely she would put the past behind her, right? After all, she was so against death that in the lands between, she had her shadow,
Malekith, the Black Blade,
seal it away from the Elden Ring. There's no way Marika would be petty and get revenge or something like that, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you might as well call her Marika the Hypocrite from now on. In the lands between, there is no true death, and Queen Marika is praised for that. Underneath the secret shadows though, death was the only thing that would happen. Determined to get revenge for her people, Queen Marika waged a fierce war, or should I say complete genocide, against the Hornsent, leading an army commanded by her son Messmer. That's right everyone. This is exactly what Messmer is doing in the trailers we saw before the release of the DLC. This is the mass genocide of the Hornsent people, the revenge of an angry shaman woman coming full circle. If you want the full lore on Messmer, I'll put that video somewhere on screen for you to enjoy after this one. Even though Marika abandoned Messmer in the Lands of Shadow due to the curse within him, he would still faithfully carry out the genocide of his mother's wishes in secret until he meets his unfortunate fate with us. Even to this current day though, we can still see clues left of the destruction Messmer brought upon the Hornsent. The Ember of Messmer reads, a remnant of Messmer's flame, the symbol of the crusade. It contains the smolder as if crawling across the ground. The furnace golems were also created for this very purpose. The furnace visage reads, a stone mask surrounded by curled horns, depicting the fell god of fire that haunts the sagas of the Hornsent. Marika would not leave the past of her people alone and would make sure the Hornsent would pay very dearly for what they did to her people. Queen Marika had one last thing to do before she fully moved on though. At some point, before she abandoned the lands of shadow and hid what she had done away forever, she returned to her homeland, her heart heavy with the knowledge that her people had long since perished. Despite knowing this, she cast the Minor Erdtree Incantation, bathing her home in the healing light of gold, a final act of love and remembrance for the fallen. She left one more thing before leaving the lands of shadow, never to return again. A golden braid left at one of her statues reads, Queen Marika's offering to the grandmother. What was her prayer, her wish, her confession? There is no one left to answer, and Marika never returned home again. Damn, man. This brings us to the current events that we know in the lands between now. Maybe Marika was justified in doing what she did. Or maybe it's time for us to take matters into our own hands and create an order that we see fit without Marika's influence at all. That is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Was Marika justified in doing what she did? I mean, who could blame her, right? Once you achieve that level of power and godhood, why not get revenge on the people that caused your poor people so much harm? Or do you think she is immature and out of control god, falling to the lack of control over the power she was given? After all, she does shatter the Elden Ring. Let me know what y'all thought of this video, and if you enjoyed, please consider hitting those buttons down below. I will catch y'all in the next one. Timson918 out of here. Love you guys. Hey, what's going on, y'all? I wanted to add this at the beginning of the video, but I completely forgot. I just want to say thank y'all so much for allowing me to hit 2,200 subscribers on the channel. This is an absolute dream come true, and I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who is allowing me to live out my dreams and provide y'all the best content that I absolutely can. That's it for now, though. The video is going to come to an end for real this time. I will catch y'all in the next video. Timson918 out of here. Love you guys.